Hello, good morning, beautiful mamas. It is Monday Mama Talk, and today I have a special guest, Karolina Kizinska.
Yes,
I hope I
perfect.
pronounced it right. Okay, good. Um, and she is a child development specialist in music, which is really fascinating. And she knows a lot about how music can develop our babies' brains. And as you know, I talk a lot about brain development in our children and even in ourselves so that we can raise our kids in the best way possible so that they can be resilient and confident. And music is one of those really cool ways that we can do that for our kids. And it's fun, it's entertaining, it gets them involved and engaged. And it's also fun for us as parents, too. So I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit and ask some questions. If you have any questions, just pop them into the comments. If you're watching the replay, hit hashtag replay and put any questions or comments that you may have then. So thanks, Karolina, for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's amazing to be here. Hi, mamas. If you're watching now, so my name is Karolina Kizinska. So you said that perfectly. I'm a music teacher, and I specialize in introducing music to babies and toddlers. So for the last almost 15 years, I've been teaching music to the little ones. As well as the older ones, because I also teach the piano, but today, obviously, we focus on babies and toddlers. So what I am fascinated about is how children learn music, what stages they go through when they learn music. And obviously, I love to explain how it's even possible to teach music to babies, because I get that question a lot. And my goal right now is to spread the word so that as many parents, as many moms especially as possible, because they are the ones who are with the baby at least for the first year of their life, I mean usually, so that they know how important it is to take care of providing this rich musical environment to our babies so that they can develop beautifully.
Oh, I love that. I think it's so cool. And it's such an awesome thing to do. And in our family, we love music. And so when I met her, we met through a mutual group. And she lives in Poland, by the way. And so
Yep.
it's so awesome that she's here and that she can speak
Yeah.
English and teach this to us. And so I was so fascinated when I found out what she did. And so we had a conversation, and she is so full of knowledge, and it's just really cool. And she even has a course, which I'll let her tell you about that later if you want to talk a tiny bit about it. But
Okay.
so how exactly does music develop a baby's brain? Why
Right.
is it so important?
Yeah. First of all, I just wanted you to realize that babies learn music the same way they learn language. So this is very similar to the similar stages that they go through. I think it's gonna be easier for you to realize, also how it engages the baby's brain, because music is one of not many, amazing things that engages a child's brain entirely, because at the same time there are three different cortices engaged: motor, auditory, and visual cortices are very are working at the same time when a child is listening to music, and obviously when they are a little bit older and try to play some kind of an instrument. So this is amazing, because as you've said, music is very enjoyable. Music is something very natural for a child. So it's not like we are imposing something on a child, like we are expecting them to do something. Like we decide, okay, today you will learn this and this, because this is obviously not the stage for that. It's natural for them to just learn by listening, and that's it. So we as parents, if we provide them different kinds of music, if we sing to our children, and we just need to take care of making sure that we let them listen to variety of different melodies and rhythms, and just by doing that, we are allowing their brains to kind of, like they're like fireworks going on in our children's brains when they are engaging in musical play. So the most important thing for moms to realize is that, to just stop treating music only as, oh, something fun, something I can do, but it's not really necessary, and start treating as something so necessary, because it's amazing how we are making sure that all those connections in our baby's brains are really connecting. Because if you are not allowing your child to listen to music, if you're not singing to them, those connections that could have taken place will go to something else, if you know what I mean. Because if they're not used for something that is specific at that time frame, at that critical period that the child can make some connections, it will later on go to, for example, drawing, but they are not old enough to draw when they are born. So when we remember that children hear everything from the beginning, and then it's it kind of sinks in that okay, it actually makes sense that maybe music, like language, is something very natural and easy for them to learn. We cannot, teach them to, as I said, to draw or to, read or do so many other stuff. They cannot see very well when they are born, but they can hear perfectly, and they can hear, from the third trimester, they hear everything. That's how they recognize mommy's and daddy's voice. That's how they recognize some of the songs that have been sung to them when they were still in the belly, and it's just so natural. And as long as moms know that it's important to provide a musical experience every day to our children, then it's great, because they allow them to grow musically, to grow intellectually, to grow emotionally, even physically when they are a little older, so that they can, play with some props or some just percussion instruments. So by doing something quite, as I said, easy, enjoyable, we really do a lot for our babies and for their brains and for their brains' development.
That's so cool and super fascinating. So basically, we can start the third trimester, and from the day they're born, we just start singing and playing music. And is that kind of the old way they would say, like, play classical music while you're pregnant, so your baby your brain cells and
right. I mean, there is sometimes this. Some parents are suspicious, when you tell them it actually makes sense to sing to your belly or just to, listen to music. But it actually really does make sense, because, as I've said, a baby can hear everything. So why not? I mean, the earlier the better. If they can hear, this is something we can give them, because I think this is something important for moms. They are looking for the things that they can give their children, so that they can support their children's development. This is something we all as parents want to do. So we want to know what we can do. So this is amazing. I mean, it makes me feel so great as a mom that by doing something so easy, I am helping my baby, and I am helping them from the beginning, doing something that is natural, because, for the centuries, moms, grandmoms were singing to babies, singing lullabies. It's a little different now, which is a little sad, because we tend to rely more and more on recordings. I do have more and more moms coming to my classes for babies and toddlers, telling me, oh, I cannot sing. I don't feel comfortable singing. I don't know if you've noticed, but more and more people do not feel comfortable singing. And singing is just something, we shouldn't even be, worrying about being perfect or not when we sing. We should just sing. But yeah, this is something that is worrying me a little bit, because even older children, when they come to me to learn how to play the piano, and because I teach the piano also using MLT, and I will say a few words what MLT is in a second, and I tell them that I also want them to sing and to move, not only sit in front of the piano. Sometimes they are terrified, because they've had so little music before, and their parents were not singing to them because, I don't know, they just didn't feel like it's worth singing to them, that it's important, or they just didn't feel they know how to sing and were, I don't know, worried if it's perfect or not. And they are terrified, and it's just so sad, because music is so important on so many levels. I mean, today I'm talking about, strictly just, developing a brain, but we've got the whole field of music therapy, which is, telling us so much about, influencing children's emotions through music. And I mean, this is something they can express themselves through. So just so important, so basic, so fundamental. Yeah, and I've lost my point here, but yeah, just singing. Yeah, singing is just so important. And I really encourage all the parents just to sing and not be shy and think whether or not they should, etc., etc.
Some of that could be that our parents didn't sing to us.
Yes.
I teach a lot about that, about how babies, they mimic us, and so they do what we do, and they learn from the way that we learn. And so whatever we do in our home, we are teaching our children how to be human and how to think,
Yeah.
how to be. And if your parents didn't sing or have a lot of music, then you have a tendency not to do that. So it's a little bit harder to bring that into your life if it's not something that hasn't been in your life
Yes.
before, but it's not impossible. So if it's something that you do want to learn how to do, and figure out how to bring this into your home, Karolina's a great resource. And there's also a lot of like you do music classes online as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we did some online during, the lockdown. Obviously, I do prefer to do it live too, because what you've said, that the children mimic us. This is how they learn language, right? They listen to us, they observe us, and they learn language from us, from parents, not some language experts. That's what I'm always telling also to my parents, I mean the parents that come to my classes, that you don't need to be perfect. Children will mimic you. So if you sing, they will sing. And even if your singing is really out of tune, it doesn't matter, because later on they will hear other people sing and they will correct that. But they need to see you sing, they need to see you engage in musical activities, so that it's natural for them, so that they learn. Because of course you can come to some classes and the kids will listen to me and observe what I'm doing. But there is nobody more important than mom and dad. If they are not doing anything, even during those classes, if they sit in a corner and they do nothing at home, it does not make such an impact or an influence as with the parents who sing, who even sing terribly, let's say. I don't like that word, but let's say it. They just sing out of tune, but they do sing. I mean, you can always tell, because when those children come back week after week, they sing so much more. It's more natural for them. They go through the stages of learning music so much quicker than other children. So yeah, children mimic us. If you don't think right,
Doing it at home helps them.
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
And so many different resources. There's libraries that do things that are almost everywhere locally, that have story times where they sing and they do music classes and stuff. But doing it at home is definitely
I mean,
engages them the most and allows them to be. And I do want to say one thing: if you are one of those moms who did not have music in their life and you're afraid to sing and you feel really uncomfortable with it, you don't have to just go all in. Just find a lullaby that's easy to remember, and just
exactly,
or even just find a piece of music that you like. Because I know I would challenge anybody to say something against this, but I think everybody has had a piece of music, whether it's classical, whether it's a band that you love, gives you a feeling and an emotion, and it brings up some kind of emotion within us. And so by doing that with our babies at a young age, it helps them, like you said, it helps them develop emotionally and bring that into their lives. Someone says, I've noticed this. We didn't sing or dance much when my son was a baby, and he didn't sing or dance much as a toddler. We started singing and dancing at home much more the last year, and my daughter, now 16 months old, does both all the time. It's so cute. Oh, I love that. I can't see your name on here. I'm sorry. I don't know who it is saying that. But so adorable. I love it.
True. This is so true. And you just need to give children a chance to be around music, and you will see they will pick it up. And this is also, you know, later on when children are a little older and start, you know, attending some, you know, after school classes, etc. And I've noticed something, and please, all the mamas listening to us now, please remember, don't think that maybe your child does like something or doesn't like something if you didn't provide them enough experience with that. So I've noticed that I've got some moms, if, for example, when they have a daughter and a son, they tend to you know, encourage their daughter to come to a music class to learn piano, let's say. And when I am asking about the boy, that maybe this wonderful boy would want to learn how to play piano too, and they say, oh, no, you know, he's into soccer, he's not musical. Listen to that. How harmful for that child it is. Of course, obviously, not intentionally, you know, from the parent, but they are not giving him the chance to be around music, and they are imposing this thought on him that he is not musical. And children listen to everything that we are saying. I mean, obviously, sometimes we think they are not when we want them to, but they're
all the time. We have to watch
yeah, and he will keep, you know, believing that he's not musical, probably for the maybe the rest of his life or the big part of his life. Just give children a chance. And the other important thing that I was thinking about when you were talking about trying some kind of music that you like and maybe sing to it, sing it. Also, please remember that you don't need to listen to or sing children's music to children. It's like a very huge myth that children are supposed to listen to children's music, which is, you know, like those simple songs on YouTube. Simple songs are fine. I mean, you can always, you know, use them for your music play, but they are really easy, and children are little geniuses. Then they can listen to the most complicated music you can imagine, and it's interesting to them, unless you keep playing them simple songs over and over again, and this is just the one thing that they will want. So they will demand simple songs later on, because that's what they're familiar with, and, you know, that's what they know, especially when you let them, you know, watch the videos at the same time, right?
And if you don't know what simple songs are, they're like Wheels on the Bus.
Exactly.
Just all the nursery rhyme songs. Such a couple of good songs.
I mean, as I said, they are fine. Just try not to just rely on those. Just listen to the music you like to listen to. Sing the songs you like to sing. I mean, the songs from your childhood or from your favorite band, as you said, or this melody that keeps, you know, popping into your head. Try different things. Let your child experience a variety of different songs, of different rhythms, of different styles of music would be awesome. So, you know, YouTube is a great source of everything right now. So you can find world's music or, you know, everything. So basically, you're like 5 minutes a day, if you are like super busy, can even be like, okay, so today let's listen together to like blues, or tomorrow we'll listen to some rock music, and the day after that we will listen and try to, you know, move to I don't know, flamenco or something. You know what I mean? I mean, let's do something fun with music every day. And then when you are, you know, trying to listen to more and more, you will feel more comfortable and maybe try to sing with there. And as I said, there are some great videos. I teach babies and toddlers using MLT, which is Music Learning Theory by Edwin Elias Gordon. And what it means is just that I know, thanks to him, what are the stages that children go through and what you need to present to children to help them go through those stages so they can understand music and use it like they use language when they learn how to talk. So, but as parents, all you need to remember about is to let them experience as rich musical environment as possible. So go to concerts with your children. They don't need to understand, as long as they don't, you know, scream through the whole classical concert or something, try to go with them. Try to, just let them experience. And I mean, it's like you want to talk to your children with a rich vocabulary because you want them to have a rich vocabulary when they are older. It's the same with music. Just when you try to give them, rich experiences when it comes to music, they will understand music better because they can compare different styles, they can compare different rhythms, different melodies, like different modes, etc., because let's remember that is how little children learn, right? Through differentiation. So the more differences we give them, the quicker and easier it is for them to understand, this particular mode or particular rhythm, if it's usual or unusual meter, or regular or unregular, etc. So just do that. Just play like very strange sometimes melodies and songs, and listen to them with your baby, dance with your baby, move with your baby, and and even by doing that, you are doing so much to them for them.
Right. You can just put on a YouTube song and have a dance party.
Of course. Right.
Someone said Miranda played classical for her 3-year-old students' quiet time each day. By the end of the year, they were asking for pieces by name and or composer, which is really cool. We do that with our kids. We'll play classical every now and then, and we just, even if it's just like we like Coldplay and Mumford and Sons, and there's lots of there's banjos and pianos and cellos, and so when we hear that, we say, hey, those are the drums. That's a cello you hear. And so when we're out and about, we'll say, hey, do you hear that music? What instrument do you think that is? And just try to get them thinking. They don't have to say it right or wrong. It just gets them thinking about things. And that's what this is playing for quiet time, is getting them thinking. They just automatically start doing that. And then they'll start saying, oh, Mom, do you hear that? What instrument is that?
Yeah, really great. You just make them aware, of what they are listening to, that it's not just, the wheels go round and round, and, it's more like playing when you listen to the simple songs, but when you listen to some other things, it's more about really listening to music, you know what I mean? Because, when you think that children are too small, like toddlers, for example, to listen to this complicated music and learn it, as I said, think about the language. You're not using just, simple few words when you talk to your baby, because you are aware that they need to listen to the whole sentences so that they can speak the whole sentences later on. They will just, pick it up, right? So same with music. You cannot just give them so simple stuff, because, well, they can just do so much more. As I said, they are genius. This is, it's amazing what children can learn. So if you can use that period of time when they are so little, because the first critical period to learn music is from the day they are born, or even earlier, up to 18th month old. So when your baby is a year and a half, actually the first period for learning music passes, and you cannot do anything about that. So I'm sure as parents, we want to make sure that we are using this time very carefully to provide them everything that they need to develop, for their brains to develop so beautifully.
Yeah. Someone said, I've learned that music is a great vehicle to teach vocabulary, listening skills, even spelling and math. The rhythm works. Oh yeah, you can use it as the rhythm. That's really great insight. Yes. And like it's just fun. Just have fun, and you can develop your baby's brain while having fun. It doesn't have to be so rigid, but it's just the first few years. We have such an influence in our children's lives, and if we can do everything we can to enhance that and build their confidence, and it makes such a huge difference in them, and they have so much fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to say that you are so right. And I know that parents, especially young moms, can feel overwhelmed, right? When they've got so much on their plate. So I always say, when you have to pick one thing that you are going to do with your baby when it comes to helping them develop, pick music. Because it's engaging also for you. You don't really need to think about that. And I can assure you, you are doing a lot when it comes to the child's development. And then when you've got more time, you feel a little better, you've got maybe a little bit more sleep, then you can go to, picking up, the right toys for, visual, for sight to develop, etc., etc. But start with music. This is really the only thing that you need to make sure that you are, everything you can for your child's development at the beginning.
Absolutely.
So that you don't feel overwhelmed. And it doesn't need to be, long, even 5 minutes a day. It's fine, but just make sure that you remember about that you know about that it's worth listening to music together.
And this is not about trying to get your child to be a composer or a pianist, or like you don't even have to give them piano lessons. It's just it just develops their brain in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It brings more joy into everybody's life too.
Yeah.
So
true. I mean, probably those children, if they want to pursue music in the future, it will be so easy for them. But no, this is just not our goal. We just want to make sure that we give our children everything we can to help them develop. Right? Later on, when it's time, not for because when we are as parents are taking care of our children, we are their we are not really, the teachers that you think about when you think about school. So we are not formal teachers. We are more informal guides. So this is important for us to know what is important, as you said, developmentally, because we are the only ones that are around our children during that period of time that is so crucial for their development. So we need to know those things, right?
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to go ahead and then your information is so amazing. Where can we find you?
Thank you. You can find me on Facebook on Supermom Music Lab, and also on my website supermommusiclab.com. You can find my course for parents. If you want to know more, if you want to get some videos and some examples of different melodies and different rhythms, so that it's easier for you to get started with music playing, then feel welcome to purchase my course. If not, as I've said, YouTube is an amazing source of different melodies. So just make sure that you are providing your children with different kinds of music.
Absolutely, and you're also on Instagram. I'll give links somewhere they can look you up and follow you and find more information and tips and all of the great things.
You can also subscribe to my email list. You can also do that through my website, and you will be, getting some fun emails with some suggestions how you can spend time with your child and music play together. So
that's great. Yeah, I'm on her list. And she does really great tips. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.